Okay, so my phone died, and that's my fault. I had it plugged in, and I went to the kitchen, and I was on my phone looking at something, and forgot to plug it back in. So let's run this again. Okay. Fuck. So stupid. I was just like letting everybody know that like my phone died because I took it to the kitchen looking at something. So that just kind of threw everything off, I guess. But anyway, so
And we're back.
and we're back now. Jeez, my bad. I'm sorry. That's my fault. So yeah, like we said in the last video, we are going live again to do our video challenge for Self-Perfected this week. We usually do them individually by ourselves, but just to switch it up every now and then, it's pretty fun and gives people different perspective and opportunity for conversation. And honestly, I don't know if we should wait to see if more people hop on here because then we can have interaction with people, or or not. They can just talk to us in the comments after we post it.
Right.
It doesn't really matter. But anyway, so to rehash what we were saying just a second ago before the incident, what are you doing that is best for all? That's the challenge, right?
That's the
The
question.
video challenge. The question is, what are you doing that is best for all? And you had asked me what a world looks like that is best for all. So some things that come to mind whenever I'm asked that question, some things that come to mind is like the word equality. Um, I think of the word support. I think of the word education, mainly because these are things that like allow for everybody to have the same opportunity, the same chance. You know, properly being educated, being properly supported. Um, all of those things kind of tie in together to like to create a world that is best for all. I mean, there's obviously a lot of other factors at play and a lot of things that are going to go into this, but on the surface, those are some things that pop into my mind whenever I think about it. So, what I mean, I guess like give you a rebuttal. Like, what do you think of whenever you think of a world that is best for all? What does that mean to you necessarily?
Yeah. What I think of is just kind of is a world where everyone's basic needs are met as well. Like having a world,
Yeah,
all of our systems are taken care of. So you're not focused on survival. So things like I think we can all agree that everyone deserves access to clean water, um, food,
something we take for granted, honestly.
clothing, housing, right? Like those
Hmm.
are things that I think if everyone had those things, then people can just naturally focus on other things, such as that you can get into like kind of the things that you said, education and equal opportunity, right? Because
Yeah,
right now we're living in a world where the systems that are in place right now are literally serving a very small percentage of people, but then a large percent of the so like a small percentage of people are like living comfortably, and then a large percentage of those people are living literally in poverty,
yeah,
right?
yeah, definitely. It's
And kind of like and then it's like the people that are living in poverty as well, those are the people kind of sustaining the lifestyle of the people who are living comfortably, unfortunately. So even like
yeah, they're living off the backs of the people that are um not they're living off the backs of the people that live in poverty,
right.
the parasites, the parasitical class of people.
I mean, in some sense, though, like we're a part of that.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely contributed, and that's the first part. And honestly, that's funny. I'm gonna go ahead and knock mine out right here because you brought that up. For me, that what am I doing myself actively doing that is best for all? I would say that I am taking responsibility and acknowledging that I have played a part in the system. I have contributed and allowed and accepted that system to continue leaving people in poverty, leaving people to compete over basic survival needs. Like you said, water, food, shelter. You shouldn't have to be in competition for those things. So what am I doing that's best for all is I'm actively walking the path of self-forgiveness along with the tools and resources we talked about. Um, I guess it was last week. It's been about a week, I think, since our last video.
Mhm.
Um, Along with TechnoTutor and DIP, even Jen on some level. But self-forgiveness. I'm walking the path actively of self-forgiveness to free myself from the shackles of the system of what we have accepted and allowed and created with our words um, and our vocabulary. And I'm pursuing this journey to life through these resources and through my self-forgiveness so that I'm able to unchain myself so that I can start to implement and show and teach others how to also free themselves from the system so that we can learn to implement that change so that one day in the future for our kids children that that equality, that proper support, proper education that I spoke of earlier is a reality and not some far-fetched idea that we're looking off into the future saying that would be cool, but you know what I'm saying? It
Absolutely.
starts with us and it starts with the self-forgiveness to free yourself from everything that's holding you back.
Yeah, and just self-forgiveness in the sense too, like, when you do look at the world and then see the part that you're also playing in it, it's like,
Hmm.
you can feel really guilty and kind of like, or the feeling of like, well, what can I do, right? Or maybe I don't have a choice. So that self-forgiveness is also important because it just kind of helps you like, okay, like I forgive myself for accepting and allowing those things, but now I'm going to actively act in a way to correct that in some way
Right,
with the part that I can play on this while I'm here on this earth right now, right?
right,
So that's really cool. And like you said as well, like just taking like some level of personal responsibility. Like I like to also think like just the fact that like we're here on Facebook using a phone, like we have so much opportunity to use our resources and use our free will because we're not living in a position where necessarily we're really in extreme survival mode. Like we have
right,
all of our basic needs met, right? But it's like, which is like a great thing, and like grateful for that. But it's like, I'm not here now in a position to being like, well, I'm in this position and those people have to be in that position. So I'm grateful for what I have, but that also has to exist. It's like, no, like now what can I do from the position that I'm in to potentially help those people not be in that position anymore? Where some people like literally try to accept that like that just needs to be a reality, which is just crazy because
crazy.
would you want to switch with that person? Probably not.
Probably not, probably not. And that's like the whole concept of like I know you saw it the other day in the comment section when there was a few of us having a conversation with that guy and he said, follow God's plan. You think, I mean, okay, there's a perspective, right? Do you think that God's plan is for 3 million children to die every year from starvation? Doesn't sound too much like a loving God to me.
Right.
I mean, if I'm keeping it real, and I always will.
No, and it's just funny because people like say like, oh, like God or this person or this source is going to be the solution to the problem. Meanwhile, it's like if we're going to continue looking at this outside entity that's going to take action for us, it literally again just like takes that responsibility away from ourselves to do
Yeah,
to use our free will actually effectively, right? Like we're not actually
yeah.
exercising our free will properly by doing that.
And it's like an excuse in some way or another. Like, yeah, like it's like an excuse to not take responsibility for being a contributor to the system. Like you see the kids like on those. I know like I can't say the validity of those commercials where like the starving children are on a commercial and it's like donate X amount of money, yada yada yada. Well, people. I mean, I'm not going into religion here, but like people will look at that and say like, well, it's just all part of God's plan. Like, no, that's a subconscious diversion for you to not take responsibility. for the fact that the way you've chose to participate in this life that we've been given, because you don't have the capacity and the processing power to understand that like what you do on a day-to-day basis is contributing to those poor kids that don't have food and water.
Right.
But
Like,
instead of taking responsibility and owning up to it, it's not my, it's God. It's God's plan.
right.
Or it doesn't have to be just God. It could be the spirituality side of it and be like, oh, that's just every person chose their path before they came here. Like, okay, maybe on a certain level, in some way or another, that's true. But we've abused that to the point that everybody that comes here to this life to experience life doesn't have a fair chance as everybody else.
Right.
And that is something that we have contributed to and controlled.
No, exactly. And it's just like, just to contribute what you just said there, it's also, it's like where some of us are born into the system, like for ourselves, for example,
Mm-hmm.
to kind of perpetuate the system, which it keeps those people in that position, right?
Yeah,
Is it fair to say that they chose that? I mean, I don't think so. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think so either. It just so happens that like there's a lot, like there's people still having children over there, and then there's also people having children over here. And also, it's like you look at, there's so many people trying to move to the places that have, for example, a more um, like our type of lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? Like those people are trying to get out of their situations. It's just much harder. Like I can even speak from my own experience. Like my family left South America to come to Canada for better opportunity, right?
right.
So it's like everyone kind of wants to do that. But do they have the opportunity to do that? Not many actually do or get that possibility, right? But then it's like
Facts.
most of us come here and we want to, like, even for where you're like the American dream, like everyone's like, oh, like I'm here and I have opportunity now to like start a business and be successful and like make my own money and create my own money. But then it's like it's like we totally forget almost like where we came from even, and like don't even think like, oh, like there's other people that could want the same thing but they just don't have the capacity to do so. And then it's like we just kind of turn a blind eye and it's like, okay, it's not my responsibility and I don't have to worry.
Right. It's not something I need to worry about because I can't. And one of the worst I think mindsets to get in is like I care about it, but like there's nothing I can do about it.
Right.
There's nothing I can do about it. But that's wrong. That's categorically wrong.
Right. And then also, like you said, it's like kind of when people say like, oh, I donated money like to those charities that you're talking about, like those commercials and stuff. It's like,
Right.
okay, sure, you can like help these people on some level by sending them money, but is that actually changing the system that is keeping them in that position?
Well, it kind of just prolongs this. It kind of just prolongs the system. It's a temporary solution to a major problem that's going to take lots of action to change.
Right.
It's like sticking a band-aid on a hole in a boat.
Right.
It's like it might keep the water from coming in for like, I don't know, 20 minutes. But eventually it's going to continue, the floodgates are going to continue to open. So like I think about another one, like whenever we talk about participating in systems that are allowing this type of like lifestyle for people, um, like have you heard stories about like the kids in Africa that work in the diamond mines and they like are paid absolutely nothing and they die like horrible, terrifying.
Death.
Yeah, like it's just like it's an atrocious, really. Also, people can go to the jewelry. We've talked about this before, how like rapper, and this is by no means like a slight
Yeah.
at anybody that likes jewelry. I have a necklace on right here, right? It's obviously not a $30,000 necklace, but you see it in the media all the time. Like you see rappers, musicians, maybe even actors, athletes, all these people that'll go to the jewelry store and spend $35,000 on a chain, right?
Right.
I'm not saying you should take the $35,000 and donate it because we just addressed that and we said that doesn't change anything. What I am saying though is that by you going and buying all of this
Materials.
luxury items and all these things, it's operating on the backs of the less fortunate. Like
Right.
kids are dying so that you can go buy your chain. It's deeper than just like spending the money on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like kids are dying over that.
Or even our iPhones. Like, you know what I mean? Like, those are
There you go. In China, like
back,
where they build the iPhones and stuff. Yeah,
right?
they work for absolutely nothing. 15, 16, 17, 18 hours a day. Just
Probably.
so we're able to sit here and do this. I'm on my phone right now. I'm not on my laptop. I'm on my phone.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? We're sitting here contributing to the system actively as we speak in a way.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
the first step is like taking responsibility and owning up to that and being like, you know what? Okay, I see what's going on now. And I'm gonna take that's why the whole conversation, the whole topic of this video is what are you doing to
What is best for all. Yeah.
what are you doing to like actively live out what is best for all? Like
Right.
that's what we're doing. We're working through self become equal to the system to change the system. There you go. You got to use the system to change the system.
Pretty
And
much.
that's what we're doing. And through our self-forgiveness and through our
The tools and the
the
resources.
tools, man, we're really taking initiative to make these changes. And I think that that's if anything else, if nobody gets anything else from this video, it's that if you're in the mindset, and I've been there, if you're in the mindset of like, oh, I can't do anything about this, like it's not true. You can start and you can start now and literally send me a message, comment on the video, write Christine a message, anybody that's watching right now, Jess, Asia, I've seen you guys pop up down here. Um,
True.
any of us within the self-perfected. I don't know who else is on here. I haven't seen yet. But that's just like Colin, all these people. And that's just like one of those things that we talked about last week about the resources. Like you can kind of start to get a vision on where we're going with self-perfected. It's not about just like self like yeah, it's about self-development, but
The end
that's
goal.
not all it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like we really have a vision on where we're going and what we're trying to do and what we're trying to change. And it's global. It's a really big scale change that we are going to start implementing so that our future generations can continue that with much less fucked up programming.
Right. And just starting points, right? Just like
Yeah.
having like an equal, like just said, like an equal, become equal to the system so we can have an equal system. But it's just like, it's not even in the sense of like, oh, everyone is equal and like we're all the same. It's like, that's not it at all. It's just like getting to our, that we're all on an equal playing field by having our needs and taken care of, right? And then providing people with the education to then pretty much create whatever is another in another way best for all, right? Like something, some way that we can contribute to this, to the systems already, that is going to help contribute to better society, right? Because right now it's like we're not at all, like even just with like coronavirus and all this kind of stuff, it's like we're seeing even more and more the divide between lower low income classes of people and the rich just getting richer,
Mm,
right? Just and then like
hmm.
even with the education system or like the economic system, the political system, like it's just so no one is actively doing anything to really bring and like equal opportunity to everyone. It's like everyone is still solely focused on money and self
Yeah.
and money.
Did you say what? What in money?
It's like self-interest.
Self-interest. I was gonna say, do you think that self-interested ideology is what even if they don't know it, it's easy to say. You know what I'm saying? You can use any platform you want and say things like, I care about this, I care about that, I'm doing this to change, I'm doing that to change, but like, are you? Self-honesty. Are you? I don't know, I can't answer that. I can answer for myself that I've looked in the mirror and been really honest and taken responsibility for the fact that I've contributed to this bullshit system. And because of that, now I've been able to really dive into the whole self forgiveness and kind of work through my self interest. Like that program runs really deep.
Like
Like
that's
that self interest, like it can even be disguised like subconsciously. Like like within religion and stuff and within spirituality, like, oh yeah, like you can sit and say like, oh, I love everybody, I love people and this and that, I'm gonna give here, but really like all you're trying to do is get to heaven yourself.
Right.
You're
And
trying to reach enlightenment yourself. You don't really care about what the fuck is going on with everybody else. You're just interested in getting there for your own self.
right. No, and on the
Yeah.
spirituality point as well, it's like people lack responsibility, or just it's funny, like we think that we figured it out, like, oh, we're all connected and everything, but then we're so easily to accept that, like, oh, it's all the universe's plan, and like those people, that polarity needs to exist in order for us to experience what we're having. Like,
How selfish.
and it's just so, again, it's just like so purely self-interested, lack of self-responsibility, um to you. And really, are you actually like, I love this is like something that Asif said, like, are you really like exercising your free will if you have that mindset? Like, not really. You know, so
Damn.
you're literally like this, like, oh, positive, like, oh, those people just need to exist there. It's like, well, no. And then it's just crazy because the people that do have a lot of money right now, it's like, I can't even fathom like how people can have so much money and literally not want to change or help people. I mean, unless it's like you can't because there's people against you that don't want you to do that. But it's just like crazy to me that there's like, even the people that come from places in poverty, like, it's, they make all this money, like people that come from like the hood, or people that come from South America, like all these regular, like, you know, like I'm just talking about like artists and stuff like that especially, and it's like they completely just live out their lavish lifestyle. Meanwhile, the people that they, where they came from, are still living in that, within that like lifestyle of not having their basic needs met, or like still living in survival mode. And it's just like, how do you continue living this lavish lifestyle and not even go and try to like change things? And I know there's maybe people that do, but like, it clearly there's no evidence of it actually changing the outcome for a lot of these people. These people are still living in that situation because we're seeing
Yeah.
it right now.
Yeah, we see it. We see it all around us. Even and you mentioned people that have all that money, like take it like a one step higher and look at like the United States government. Homelessness at an all-time high, kids in our own country. I know you live in Canada, but like
I mean, it's just, well,
kids in the United States are like starving to death as well.
right.
Um, and somehow the government just miraculously out of the fucking thin air pulls out like $900 billion,
Right.
and they sent out $600 to people. That wouldn't even pay my rent,
Right.
and you're sending out $600 to people. Like you're really blessing people. Like we've already covered the fact that like giving money doesn't change the system, right? But like that would be $900 billion is enough to influence the system. I've been flashing the word techno influence and TechnoTutor a lot the last 2 days. I am influenced. You can make a big influence with $900 billion, but they don't
No,
because
exactly.
they don't care. It's almost like they have this mindset like, well, as long as the people in third world undeveloped countries are starving and in survival mode, it's one less mouth that we have to worry about.
I mean, that's kind of literally the mindset that people have. Like, people don't actually, it's just crazy because it's like people will go around and say that the government cares about people. And it's like, really? Where's the proof of that?
Cares.
Because they toss you a few $100s, the government all of a sudden cares. The government is telling you that, you know, you should wear a mask, but all of a sudden they care. Like, no, because with all the money that they can magically pull out of thin air, and they're spending it on like
Allegedly
war.
trillions of dollars in debt, by the way. To who? I don't know. Trillions of dollars in debt, and they just come up with $900 billion.
Right. So it's just kind of crazy. It's just like, no, the people that are right, the people right now that are running the systems and with all that money aren't actually doing anything remotely what's best for all at all. And it's
No. Completely operating out of self-interest.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
yeah, I don't know. Right? What are we doing for all?
Yeah, that got heavy quick, didn't it?
Yeah, and I guess just to summarize, like what we're doing for Best for All is like, well, first of all, it starts with self-honesty and taking self-responsibility, right?
Mhm.
Being honest with yourself and like the situation that you're in, just taking a hard look at reality, you know, and the world around you. Self-forgiveness, because then after, when you do realize what's going on in reality, it is it can actually be kind of depressing, honestly, and you feel maybe guilty, shameful, like the fact that this is still going on. So self-forgiveness, right? And I know, just same as you, like I've taken the self-forgiveness process really seriously, because it's just kind of crazy. This is like going back to religion a little bit, but how people ask forgiveness from God, this like almighty thing that is gonna grant them forgiveness. And meanwhile, it's like there's, at some level, it's like, okay, like, are you gonna accept that forgiveness, or only wait when you get to heaven for that forgiveness, and then kind of waste time here on earth asking for this forgiveness that is never actually gonna come unless you accept it for yourself.
Kevin says, Kevin says the most powerful way to control people is to make them believe it's not their fault.
Right.
And that is the epitome of self-interest and self-honesty, because if you think that you're out of control and it's not your fault, then what is there to be honest about?
Yeah.
You give up your power to something outside of you, and then what? You just hope.
You hope and leave everything up to chance. Right.
And that's how they want you to saunter through life. They want you to give up your power, think that you don't have control over what happens. And you live here, you die, and then that's it. When you die, if you followed all the rules properly, you get to go to this awesome place that's been prepared for us. Like, spare me, honestly.
Spare me. But yeah, and then it's like now we're acting, so self-honesty, self-forgiveness, and then actively self-correcting all of this, right?
Right.
And taking that responsibility to now, in any decision now, I guess, that we make, or things that we're going to be involved in, um, how is that actually going to work in a way that's best for all, or how is that actively going to influence a world that's best for all, right?
Yeah.
And with the tools that we have, basically. TechnoTutor, because now it's like we're educating, re-educating ourselves, and also sharing that education with other people,
For
right?
sure. Yeah, absolutely. And like the more, just to touch back on like self-forgiveness, like it just keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper. What up, Mitch? It keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper. Like you said it best. I don't know if you were the one that thought of this like term, or if you heard it somewhere, or if maybe Mitch said it. I can't remember, but the peeling the layers off of an onion. That's what like self-forgiveness is, like the best visual for how I could like tell you or tell anybody watching, because it's like first, like you said, is the self-honesty, and you look at it and you're like, okay, this is fucked. I'm fucked. I've done all these, like I've contributed all this. Okay, cool. So we get past that and you start going into the self-forgiveness, and it's like layer after layer. I was on the phone with Mitch earlier and I told him, I was like, I have literally uncovered something, a program that I have around money that relates back to when I was like a kid, like a child,
Right.
a child. And now I'm actively, that started off through self-forgiveness, and now I'm forgiving myself on the word worth and worthiness and things like that. So you can see like it just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes, because we're so poorly supported by a system that
Right.
it's just designed, it's doing exactly what it's designed to do. So self-forgiveness is important, and it's not like a it's not like some magic trick or anything. It's literally just sitting down and writing
No, right, exactly.
and
Investigating
just
the past, which is part of the steps in self-reflection as well. Like, you have to investigate your past to rewrite the future that you're about to create, right? Because we've been
yeah.
programmed through patterns, right, that we've created from when we were 7 up until we were 7. We've just repeated that every 7 years of our life, right? And it just in our day-to-day and our day-to-day actions.
That's so crazy. And we touched on that on our last video last week, but just to reiterate that, most people learn everything that they operate their entire life on between ages 1 to 7.
Right.
So like you were really at like you've really been dealt a bad hand if you weren't properly supported. And you don't and then to take it a step further, if you're not aware, if you're not given the tools or taught how to like rewire yourself, like you will spend the rest of your life a slave to the system and you won't even know it.
Yeah.
You won't even know it. And you'll be oblivious and you'll go through life without meaning. You might find meaning in something here or there. It's only temporary.
In experiences, chasing experiences, right? That's what I'm
Yeah.
doing. Because I was guilty of that too, right? You just like,
Me too. Spent majority of my college and young adulthood doing that, chasing highs and chasing experiences that never lasted.
right. Yeah.
But I can say without a doubt now that I have found, you have found, and so many others in Self-Perfected have found something that is long lasting, that will last forever.
Yeah.
And that's what we're about.
Exactly. Agreed.
Awesome. Well, I guess we could wrap it up there if you want. Doesn't matter. We've got some people on here. We've got 7 people on here. What's up, everybody?
Yeah. If there's anything you want to add.
I have to be better about paying attention to the comments. Can you see them as well?
I can. I just have to scroll up a little bit. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
TechnoTutor has changed all of our lives, Mitch.
Yeah, literally. Literally. Look at us right here on the live video, just killing it. Look at Jess showing love. Appreciate you, Jess. Isabel, what's up, Isabel?
Yeah.
I was trying to read Isabel's comment about, she said something about growing up Christian, but it won't let me read the whole thing.
Oh,
She said, I would ask God for forgiveness, but never forgive myself. That's very powerful. Because it's like you ask and you ask and you ask and you give up that power and like nothing ever happens. You still feel like shit.
right.
You pray and you pray and pray and nothing happens.
Yeah.
It won't let me see this comment. I don't know why it's doing that. There it is. I grew up as a Christian and I would always tell people I'll pray for you when they didn't have jobs or food, but really didn't help them. Yeah. I mean,
And then
and
I didn't know how to help but to give rides home.
yeah. I mean, at least you took initiative to like help in some way.
That's the thing. Like
I
we all
mean, that's a testament in itself.
right. We all have good intentions, you know. Before we
Yeah.
were aware of this process, we all have good. You know, I think a lot of us here also had good intentions with like, you know, how we could contribute in our lives, like, you know, in just our day to day. And if we saw someone like that was homeless, like giving them, you know what I mean? Like, it's like if you saw someone that was homeless, you'd give them money or something. But it's like now
Right.
we're aware that even more aware that just doesn't actually fundamentally do anything. Like you're just keeping that person in their position and and just like contributing to the system to continue doing what it's doing. It's like, okay, well, now there are solutions to changing that. Right?
Literally, and we can show you those. And anybody else, pretty much everybody else that's like tuned in on our live tonight can also like, you can reach out to. There's so many different people you can reach out to
Yeah, like
within our network
mm-hmm.
for sure. And
So yeah, again, TechnoTutor, EIP,
mm-hmm,
and Jin is like financial perfection.
right.
Me and TechnoTutor are basically life perfection.
And that's where you tie in the financial perfection, because we have to become wealthy if we want to change the system, because we have to use the system to change the system.
Right? That's
And right now, money is the most important thing in the world, whether you want to admit that or not. You can't do shit without money, and the people with money make the decisions, and they are the ones controlling the system. So if we want to change the system, and we are going to change it, we are actively changing the system. We got to be on the same playing field. So
exactly.
buckle up.
And if you really want to think there's a God, money is the only God on this earth, honestly.
Wow. Tell us more if you want. I got time. I got time tonight.
Yeah, I mean, goddamn, like literally, it's like money is the driving force of everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the equivalent to energy. And like how we, because if you don't have money, how can you do anything, basically? And that we see that when you live in like a third world country, you don't have money. Like, what resources do you have access to? Unless you don't.
Right.
So,
There's a quote. I feel like I've heard this somewhere. It might not have been a quote, but it was like, you've never heard any of the people any of the wealthiest people in the world say money's not everything, because they know it is.
right,
That's why they have so much of it, and they use it as an influence. They
right.
use it to control. So, yeah, money is
And it's
the
what drives
God.
survival, right?
Sorry?
It drives your survival, right? Like
I
at the end
mean,
of the day, we're all like seeking money to survive, is what I'm trying to say.
mhm.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, we can definitely save that topic for another day because
Yeah, we can run another one on this,
money is
because
your,
that's a whole,
money is your only god, if you want to choose one.
yeah, that's a good one. Let's see if we got any more comments of people watching.
But yeah, that's it. What are we doing that is best for all? Walking this process and taking
That's
action
it.
effectively. So,
Taking action, and yeah, I mean, it's so fun. It's so fun. It's very, just feels right.
honestly, and it just gives us like such a good sense of purpose now, right? Versus just completely like, oh, like I just like wanted to do these things so that I can have a lot of money and I can live comfortably. It's like, well, no, it's so much deeper than that. There's so much more to that now than just wanting my own material success, right?
For sure. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
This is why this process is so cool.
All right. Well, that's that. That's our video, our weekly video challenge for self-perfected. Like I said, I'm gonna tag it. If you're on here and you're watching, or if you watch the replay and you're interested in self-perfected, you can get with myself or Christine. We can
Put
talk to you about it, show
the,
you how to do it. What is it?
put the link in this thread.
In the comment section.
Yeah, and DIP
Yeah, cool.
link as well.
Cool. Yeah, we'll drop the links in the comments then. And if you have any questions, or just want to
Yeah,
talk about anything we've talked about, conversation, let's connect and let's talk about it.
yeah,
You
or just
know?
yeah, how you can actively get involved with.
Yeah. And we're more than willing to help. I know everybody within the group is more than willing to help. I say that with the utmost confidence.
Absolutely, 100%.
So that's gonna do it for us. Thanks for tuning in again. We should come up with like some kind of like catchphrase. Maybe next time. Maybe we'll think about that. I'm on the spot right here. I can't do it.
What? Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. I'll get this uploaded in just a few minutes.
Well,
And yeah, dude, appreciate it.
likewise. Life with Lake
Likewise.
Patty.
Life with Lake, the holistic baddie. Um, this just in. JP's my favorite. Um, I don't know. We'll think of something.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Life with Lake, the holistic baddie.
Right?
Thanks for tuning in. What'd you say?
So we're just getting started.
For sure. This is like the second video that we've made, and like we already have plans for like so many other topics. I mean, I feel like every time we run a video like this, there's like topics within the topics within the topics.
100%.
I mean, we started off tonight about what are you doing that's best for all, to talking about money being God. So, I mean, whatever.
Right.
It's deep. Just follow along and ask questions. That's what I'm saying. Ask questions. Like if you have concerns or are worried about what we're saying, like anything like that,
Absolutely.
just like reach out. I'm willing to talk. I'm willing to communicate with anybody. So, all right. Let's see, what time is it? 7:50. So yeah, okay, cool.
All right.
I'll get this uploaded, and yeah, thanks for watching, and let's just keep going. Keeping in the front of your mind what is best for all, and together we can. If you want to go fast, go alone.
Trying to go
If you want
far.
to go far, go together. This is Life with Lake and Holistic Baddie. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Excellent.
Bye.